Drake just took the biggest L of his career, and it happened in the one place nobody expected, his own city. Kendrick Lamar didn't just walk into Toronto and perform a diss track, he had the entire crowd screaming every word. But what happened next? Fans turned on Drake so hard, even the police had to get involved. This wasn't just a rap beef moment, this was a full-blown betrayal. And now, Drake's next move could make or break. Kendrick Lamar didn't just step onto Drake's home turf, he set it on fire. Picture this, Toronto, the 6ix9ine, Drake's kingdom, where the streets bleed OVO. But on this night? The crowd wasn't screaming "We the North," they were screaming Kendrick's lyrics back at him like a war chant. And not just any lyrics, the most brutal, career-ending bars from Not Like Us. The ones about, well, you know. But here's where it gets disrespectful. Fans weren't just singing along, they were begging for more. Chanting one more time, like Kendrick was the hometown hero. And if that wasn't enough salt in the wound? Canadian fans showed up in merch that read, "Canadians do not F*** with Drake." Let that sink in. The same city that crowned Drake the sixth god was now bowing to his rival. And then, the restaurant scene. Videos flooded social media of fans blasting Not Like Us in the middle of a packed Toronto spot, the same way you'd celebrate a championship win. This wasn't just a concert moment. This was a cultural reset. Because in rap beefs, you expect the diss tracks, but you never expect the other guy's city to switch sides. So the question is, how did Drake lose Toronto? Was it the power of Kendrick's pen? Or did the allegations change everything? Either way, one thing's clear, this wasn't just an L. This was a funeral. How Drake lost his own city. This wasn't just a concert. This was a mutiny. For years, Drake was Toronto, the hometown kid who put the 6ix9ine on the map, the global superstar who repped Canada harder than hockey. So how did Kendrick Lamar, an LA rapper, walk into Scotiabank Arena and get treated like the second coming of the Raptors championship run? The truth? Toronto didn't just betray Drake, they gave him the same treatment he gave Meek Mill in 2015. Remember when Drake had Philly fans rapping along to back-to-back? History just repeated itself, except this time, Drake was on the receiving end. And the irony is brutal. But here's what makes this different, the crowd didn't just tolerate Kendrick, they amplified every shot at Drake. When Kendrick smirked before the certified pedo line, the arena erupted. When fans started chanting one more time after the performance, that wasn't just love for Kendrick, that was a direct message to Drake, your own people chose sides. Even worse? This was supposed to be Drake's safe space. After all the online trolling, the memes, the leaked security footage, Toronto was supposed to be the one place where Drake could still feel like the king. Instead, Kendrick turned it into the biggest humiliation of his career. And now, the internet won't let him forget it. The sold-out shows, Kendrick's domination goes next level. Just when Drake thought it couldn't get worse, Kendrick dropped the ultimate flex. Back-to-back sold-out shows in Toronto, something even the boy struggled to do during his prime. Let that sink in, the same city that supposedly belonged to Drake just handed Kendrick 2 victory laps, and the receipts are everywhere. Ticketmaster crashed. Scalpers got rich overnight. And the wildest part? Night 2 was even louder than the first. Fans who missed out on the initial show came back hungrier, screaming every bar like their lives depended on it. This wasn't just about music anymore, this was Toronto making a statement. And here's the dagger, industry insiders confirm these weren't just Drake haters filling seats. These were longtime OVO supporters, casual fans, even Toronto locals who never miss a Raptors game. The demographic shift tells the real story, Kendrick didn't just win the streets. He conquered Drake's entire ecosystem. The message is clear, after this week, Toronto isn't Drake's city anymore, it's Kendrick's playground. And that back-to-back sellout? That wasn't just a flex, that was the sound of an entire culture shifting allegiance in real time. Drake's silence, strategy, or surrender? While Toronto was screaming Kendrick's lyrics at the top of their lungs, Drake's silence was deafening. No clapbacks. No surprise appearances. Just nothing. The man who built his career on always having the last word suddenly had no words at all. What happened to the sixth god who never backs down from a fight? Sources close to Drake say police were spotted outside his mansion that night, not for protection, but to keep away the growing crowd of fans and paparazzi hoping for a reaction. Even more telling? He abruptly cancelled his planned appearance on Kai Cenat's stream last minute. The excuse? Scheduling conflicts. But we all know the truth, there's no way Drake could have survived that live chat while Kendrick was getting standing ovations in his own backyard. This is the same Drake who destroyed Meek Mill in real time with Instagram memes. Clapped back at Pusha T within 24 hours. Turned the entire internet into his personal promo team. Yet now? Crickets. The man who made back-to-back a cultural reset is suddenly allergic to responding. Even DJ Academics, Drake's biggest cheerleader, went suspiciously quiet after the shows. The silence speaks volumes. When even your own team won't defend you, that's when you know it's over. But here's the real question, is Drake actually scared? Or is he cooking up the nuclear response of the century? Because right now, the streets are saying one thing loud and clear, the king might still be in his castle, but his kingdom just switched sides. The psychology of the crowd, why Toronto turned on Drake. Let's break down the unthinkable. How does a city abandon its king? This wasn't just about rap beef. This was about something deeper, something psychologists call the underdog effect. Toronto has spent years defending Drake against every allegation, every hater, until suddenly, they didn't have to anymore. 3 key reasons the crowd flipped. The David versus Goliath factor. Kendrick positioned himself as the righteous underdog taking on the streaming giant. And nothing unites a crowd faster than rooting against the favorite. The catharsis moment. That certified pedo line wasn't just a diss, it was permission. Permission for fans to release all their pent-up skepticism about Drake's persona. The cultural shift. Gen Z doesn't care about hometown loyalty like millennials did. They care about who's morally correct in the narrative. But here's what nobody's saying. This crowd reaction may have less to do with Kendrick, and everything to do with Drake's own missteps. The Weeknd quietly distancing himself. The declining enthusiasm at OVO Fest. Even the Raptors' social media subtly avoiding Drake mentions lately. The signs were there. Toronto didn't turn on Drake overnight. Kendrick just gave them the perfect moment to show it. And that's what makes this so dangerous for Drake. This wasn't just one concert crowd. This was the moment his own city decided the sixth god narrative was finally over. The aftermath, meme wars, trolling, and Drake's legacy in shambles. Within minutes of Kendrick's Toronto performance, the internet became a war zone. Memes of Drake crying in the OVO all mascot suit went viral. TikTok edits spliced Kendrick's concert footage with scenes from The Godfather, painting him as Michael Corleone taking over the family business. Even Toronto tourism caught strays, with fans joking they should rename the city Compton North. But the most brutal blow? The data doesn't lie. Streaming numbers for Not Like Us spiked 218% in Canada overnight. Meanwhile, searches for Drake response flatlined. The algorithm had spoken, the world wasn't waiting for Drake's comeback, they were too busy dancing on his grave. Even Drake's inner circle couldn't escape the chaos. His longtime hype man, OVO Chubbs, was caught liking Kendrick fan posts. Leaked DMs revealed industry group chats debating if Drake's career could recover. And in the ultimate humiliation? A fan projected Not Like Us onto the CN Tower, turning Drake's hometown landmark into Kendrick's personal billboard. This wasn't just losing a rap beef. This was a full-scale cultural erasure. And as the memes keep coming, one thing is clear, win or lose, Drake will never live this down. Can Drake recover? The Iceman ultimatum. Drake's entire career has been built on one unstoppable superpower, his ability to spin L's into W's. But this time? The playbook might be burned. Because Iceman isn't just another album drop, it's now a do-or-die mission to save his legacy. The 3 paths forward. 1. The nuclear option. Drop the most vicious diss track in history, one so brutal it makes back-to-back sound like a lullaby. But here's the problem, Kendrick already exposed Drake's real skeletons. How do you clap back when the other guy already burned your house down? 2. The reinvention. Pull a Scorpion-era reset, ignore the beef entirely and dominate the charts with undeniable hits. Risky? Yes. But if anyone can make the world forget through sheer hitmaking, it's Drake. The catch? Kendrick's Euphoria proved fans now crave substance over streams. 3. The surrender. Let Iceman flop quietly, fade into Vegas residencies, and let the new generation battle it out. It's the unthinkable, but after Toronto, is there even a path back to the throne? The verdict? Drake's biggest threat isn't Kendrick anymore, it's time. The Six God ruled the 2010s, but this decade belongs to lyricists with something to prove. Iceman isn't just an album, it's the last stand of a king who refuses to believe his era is over. Fire final line, hook for comments. So what's it gonna be, Drake? Go out swinging, or become the very thing you mocked Meek Mill for?